Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Boone on The Boone Show. Here with you today. It is Thursday. It is currently 1:07 p.m. Central Time. So it won't be the same time for you if you're in a different time zone. But it's 1:07 here. Just thought I'd come on here and we could talk about some news for a little bit. I figured since they put me on iHeartRadio finally after I have applied 1,000 different times that it might be worth doing some shows every now and again. So now that I know that, I'm going to do shows more often. I know I've said that before, like I said, but this time, guys, I'll do my best. So, I just read a post. Well, I'll get into some news here in a bit, but I just read this post on this Facebook page talking about how Donald Trump is apparently okaying the Nazis, like he's okay with the Nazis. He's apparently a fan of them, and I don't know where this guy got his information, but he was talking about how he doesn't understand how people can still support Trump even though he's a Nazi supporter, or whatever it was that he said. It's kind of ridiculous, in my opinion, that he would say that. I'm a Trump supporter. He's not a Nazi. He's not a member of the KKK. He never said that he agreed with them. He never, he did condemn them. Because it depends on what news channel you're watching. I suppose if you watch CNN, they might fix it up a little bit to make it look like he said something that he didn't say. I'm not really 100% sure. But it just kind of pisses me off. Like I said the other day in my broadcast, pretty sure I said something along the lines of, if you're an American citizen, you have the right to assemble, whether someone else agrees with you or not. Whether you're a Nazi or you're a member of the KKK, if you want to assemble and you want to get together, that's your right to do so. I mean, I don't like it when people burn the American flag, but apparently that's their right to do so, since they're Americans. So if they can burn the flag and disrespect their freedoms like that, then everyone else can do their protests. Black Lives Matter can be violent with their protests, and I guess whatever, you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm using my broadcasting microphone that I bought a long time ago that I never really got a chance to use, so if you notice the broadcast being a little bit more clear, or maybe it's not sounding too good, it's because of this microphone. I haven't used it in a long time, so we'll see how well she does. Anyway, so let's jump right into the news. Oh, here's something. Trump is just 6 Senate votes away from impeachment, and Republicans are deserting him. At some point in 2019, if not sooner, a Republican senator may walk into the Oval Office and say, "Mr. Trump, we don't have the votes." I don't understand. I don't know exactly how it works, but I feel like there needs to be a good reason for impeachment. I think it's really stupid that senators would be able to just vote him out because they didn't like him. I feel like they shouldn't be able to vote a president out unless there's proof that he had done something wrong to get him kicked out. And Donald Trump has not done anything like that. So, it is what it is. I hate liberals. Liberals are really fucking obnoxious. They never used to be this bad. The more time goes by, the worse it gets. Liberals are idiots. They don't see how stupid they are. They're ruining America. I can't even. It's ridiculous. So here's a developing story right here. Barcelona van attack kills one at Interest 32. Let's read about this. A white van jumped up into a sidewalk and sped down a pedestrian zone in Barcelona's historic Las Ramblas district Thursday, swerving from side to side as it plowed into tourists and residents, calling it a terror attack. Police said at least one person was killed and 32 were wounded, many seriously. The attack left dozens of people sprawled out on the ground. Oh, here's a video playing. Let me pause it here. Okay. Sprawled out on the ground. Northwestern Spain, some splattered with blood and others coping with broken limbs, and eyewitnesses said emergency workers trying to help the wounded. Police brandishing handguns launched a search of streets amid reports at least one perpetrator and maybe more were holed up in a nearby bar. They spelled hold up wrong. They spelled it, should be W-H-O-L-E-D, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong, but doesn't matter. Anyway, remember, if anyone's listening, feel free to chat with me on the chat. Anyway, a few hours later, Spanish public broadcaster RTVE announced that one suspect in the Barcelona attack. Oh, sorry, I'm babysitting my baby right now. She's currently taking a nap, which is why I'm doing the show. And I keep hearing noise. I keep looking back to see if she's awake. Anyway, authorities provide no immediate information on the person who might be behind the attack. I'm getting sick of this. I'm getting sick of these attacks, really. There's just too many of them. People get attacked all the time. That's one thing I have a hard time agreeing with liberals about, is their stance on terrorism. I mean, refugees aren't all bad people, but there are bad people amongst them. So it's worth trying to weed out the bad ones. At least I think so. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's worth trying to at least get rid of them. Anyway, here is a story about the upcoming fight between McGregor and Mayweather. The headline is Mayweather-McGregor: Why Nevada Athletic Commission was wrong to approve lighter gloves. The Nevada Athletic Commission might as well be for-profit business and not a state regulatory body. Given the message it sent Wednesday, it approved for a request for Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor to wear 8-ounce gloves for their August 26th match at T-Mobile Arena. The commission voted 5-0 to carve out the one fight exception in 2006 regulation it passed that requires the fighters' bouts at 148 or more to wear 10-ounce gloves. Oof. That's Conor McGregor bitching. These videos are playing when I click on these. Anyway, to wear 10-ounce gloves. Fighters in bouts at 147 or under wear 8-ounce. Mayweather, the 49-0 boxer who won the world championship in 5 weight classes in a career that began in 96, had first come up with the idea of wearing 8-ounce gloves on Twitter last week. McGregor, the UFC champion, who normally fights with 4-ounce gloves, quickly agreed. The commission often pays lip service to duty to protect the health and safety of the fighters, but looked ridiculous in changing the rules designed to do just that because of a significant amount of money the bout will generate. It's also why a match between a 49-0 boxer and a pro boxer debut was approved. It is unlikely, even extremely unlikely, that either McGregor or Mayweather will suffer serious head trauma in the bout. While McGregor has no pro boxing experience, he's one of the best mixed martial artists, not just active, but of all time, and he knows his way around the ring. But the regulations were there for a reason, and the ruling simply creates liability should a tragedy occur. I don't know. I'm going on the Mayweather side of things. I'll tell you why I say Mayweather has a better chance of winning. I'm not saying he will win. I'm saying he has a better chance of winning. My reasoning behind that decision is Mayweather is a very technical fighter. Most of his wins are by technicality, by points. He's only got 9 knockouts in his career. The rest of them were decision, which means he's very technical. McGregor's going to have to knock him out to win, and I don't know if that's going to happen. So I think, I'm not saying McGregor doesn't have a chance at all, but with all the experience that Mayweather has under his belt, it's going to be hard to knock him out, and I think he's going to have to knock him out in order to win. It's going to be a good fight, I think. So. Here's something about Elvis here. Let's click on this. Something Priscilla said. She's talking about Elvis because she wants to be relevant again, maybe. I don't know. Elvis Presley's former wife, Priscilla Presley, got candid about her life with the music legend and his enduring legacy in the recent interview that coincided the 40th anniversary of his death. "I lost everything," she told Entertainment Tonight. "You have to remember he was such an impact on my life in every way. He was a mentor, he was my confidant. I wrote this in my book. He was everything. In my book I wrote, my God, because I lived and breathed him." The actress, who still spends much of her time at Graceland, Elvis' famous estate in Memphis, Tennessee, added that she is always reminded of the extent of his influence around the anniversaries of his death. "I'm around so many fans coming and going, some interviews, and it's a definite reminder of his passing. And of course, thinking about him in this particular time," she said, "a devastating time for myself and of course the world to hear the news. And it's still unbelievable because he's such a part of our lives. My life, my daughter's life, and everyone around him. When we got together, we talk about it and the impact it made for myself and for the cohorts who, of course, knew Elvis so well. We never thought he'd pass. We never ever had it in our minds." On August 16th, 1977, Elvis was found unresponsive in his bathroom at Graceland, and Priscilla, who divorced the icon 4 years earlier, remembers getting a call from Elvis's longtime road manager, Joe Esposito. "The first thing I thought was about my daughter, because my daughter was visiting and was supposed to come home that day because school started, and I was trying to rush home. I think I ran every red light." Priscilla said that she vividly remembers from the day the sound of Elvis's father Vernon crying in such grief howling. As for Lisa, who had actually found out about Elvis's death before she did, the 9-year-old girl didn't quite understand the implications of her father's death. It was funny. She had little playmates there, and she had gotten off a golf cart and was riding around the property on a golf cart, Priscilla said. "I don't think it resonated with her, the impact that it had, because she was so young." Today, Priscilla said, she is still astonished by the fans and artists who come and continue to be influenced by Elvis, mostly because he himself didn't quite realize his impact back when he was at his peak. When you come here to Graceland, you see everything he accomplished. I think even when he was able to afford so much, he never lost who he was. He was still God-fearing. He still loved to entertain. He was very, very generous. He was very authentic. What you see is what you got. He never tried being anybody else, and he was a very, very special human being, and we were all gifted to have him. Yeah, I do. I'm a big Elvis fan myself. I love Elvis Presley. He's a great guy. Music is phenomenal. Yeah, today is the 16th, isn't it? Let's see. No, yesterday was the 16th. He died yesterday, 40 years ago. That's quite the thing. When I was little, I used to listen to Elvis all the time. Of course, I didn't know he was dead. And when I found out, I was devastated at the time. Even though it had happened a long time ago, I was still devastated because I had thought he was alive the whole time because I listened to him when I was young. But yeah, it's a devastating thing. And, all the musicians that I love are getting old. I just went and saw Ozzy Osbourne live on Friday last week, and he's 68 years old. So he's getting up there, and he's going to pass. It's going to be a huge devastation to me. There's a lot of musicians like that I love that aren't going to be around for much longer, and it's going to be quite the thing for them to pass. So, it's everyone's got to go sometime, I suppose. It's a surprise that Ozzy's made it this long with all the drugs and shit that he's done. So, well, I only got 45 seconds left. There's not much left I can talk about. I can't just go into another news story and start talking about that. So I'm just going to kind of hang it off here and talk to you guys the next time that I decide to come on. I'm going to try. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do as far as this goes. I have a lot of things on my plate right now. This life is throwing a lot at me right now. So I'll see if I can work out a schedule for doing the show so you guys can tune in. Yeah, I'll try to get a schedule set up, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and I hope you have a great weekend as well, and I'll see you later.